I asked my first Android question on Stack Overflow on August 25th, 2008. It was about a problem I was having on the 0.9 Android Beta SDK. Android has evolved quickly since then, and nowhere is that more apparent than here in the Android Dessert Sculpture Garden, at the very heart of Android, Building 44 at Google HQ. More than just a convenient place to take a photo with a life-size sculpture of your favorite dessert, it also tells the history of Android. In terms of food, every Android launch has two things in common: work from work, bacon Sundays in the crunch time leading up to each launch, and a dessert theme codenamed, memorialized forever here in the Android Dessert Sculpture Garden. Each release brings with it new hardware, APIs, and features for developers to play with. The third major Android release, 1.5, or Cupcake as it was codenamed, brought video recording and widgets to the Android SDK, and the first baked good to our front lawn. Android 1.6 and 2.0 brought with them giant donuts and eclairs, as well as support for different screen sizes and tracking multiple simultaneous touchpoints. The biggest challenge for Android 2.2 was coming up with a baked dessert starting with the letter F, a challenge we ultimately ignored, instead introducing this giant bowl of froyo to the neighborhood, along with adding cloud device messaging to the platform. That brings us to Android 2.3 and this giant life-size gingerbread man, along with system support for barometers, gyroscopes, and NFC. Android 3.0 was the honeycomb release, the first one targeted specifically for tablets, and paving the way for Android 4.0. Android 4, Ice Cream Sandwich, brought phones and tablets back together. It also introduced Android Beam and everyone's favorite font, Roboto. Android 4.1, Jelly Bean, was the first platform release to feature rich, expandable notifications. It was also the first sculpture to spontaneously combust, thanks to a version 1 design that we've since patented as a solar-powered pressure cooker. But that's another story. Which brings us to the newest member of our team, Android 4.4, KitKat, with sensor batching, host card emulation, and an API for text messaging. So how do the dessert names get decided? Well, ultimately the only real rule is sequential lettering. Then it's down to intense lobbying, threats, bribery, and centi-threads on the ease of spelling, cultural resonance, and statuability of each proposal. Eventually something just sort of sticks, but even then we can surprise ourselves. Take a look at the Git history for the K release, and you'll see that even KitKat wasn't always KitKat. As for what comes next, we'll have to wait and see what the next statue is before we know for sure.